Karen cut off rescue access in the mountains. I airdropped supplies with a Chinook helicopter. The wind howled through the craggy peaks of the Bitterroot Mountains, carrying the distant thrum of a Chinook helicopter. Below, a narrow pass vital for rescue operations was choked with fallen logs and boulders, a barricade that seemed almost deliberate. I was the pilot, tasked with airdropping supplies to stranded hikers cut off by a late-season avalanche. But what I saw from the cockpit that day wasn't just nature's wrath. It was human conflict, raw and unyielding, threatening lives in ways I couldn't have imagined. Karen Mitchell, a local landowner, stood at the heart of it. She was a woman hardened by years of solitude, her property bordering the pass. For weeks, she'd clashed with the county over trail access, claiming hikers trespassed and damaged her land. Her grievances weren't baseless. Trampled fences, litter, and careless fires had scarred her property. But now, with lives on the line, her response was unthinkable. She'd blocked the pass herself, piling debris to stop rescue crews. "This is my land," she'd screamed at the rangers, her voice echoing over the radio. "No one crosses without my say." On the ground, Jake Torres, a seasoned rescue worker, faced her down. His team had been working 18-hour shifts, hauling gear through treacherous terrain to reach the hikers. Jake was a man of few words, but his eyes burned with fury as he pleaded with Karen. "People are dying up there," he said, voice cracking. "Food's gone, water's low. You're killing them." Karen didn't flinch. "They shouldn't have been here. Not my problem." Caught in the crossfire was Sarah, a young hiker who'd volunteered to mediate. She'd been part of the stranded group but escaped to seek help. Her face was gaunt, her hands trembling as she stood between Jake and Karen. "Please," she begged. "We're not your enemies. My friends are starving." Her words hung in the air, fragile against the growing storm of anger. I circled above, my co-pilot relaying the scene. We'd already dropped crates of food and blankets, but without ground access, the hikers couldn't retrieve them. The Chinook's roar drowned out my thoughts, but one question gnawed at me. How could someone prioritize pride over human lives? Karen's defiance wasn't just stubbornness, it was a mirror of deeper divides, of distrust and resentment festering in isolated communities. Then came the twist I didn't see coming. As I banked for another pass, my radio crackled with a new voice. Old man Carter, a reclusive neighbor of Karen's. He'd been silent through the dispute, but now he was hiking toward the pass, a rifle slung over his shoulder. My heart sank, fearing violence. But Carter wasn't come to escalate. "Karen," he called, his voice steady but heavy with sorrow. "You're wrong. I lost my boy to these mountains years ago. Don't let more die for your grudge." Carter's son had perished in a storm decades ago, a tragedy that had broken him. She'd been his land's caretaker ever since, her bitterness rooted in that shared pain. His words hit her like a physical blow. For the first time, Karen faltered, her eyes darted to the pass. Carter dropped his rifle, stepping closer. "You're not this person," he said. "Let them through." The standoff stretched on, seconds feeling like hours. Finally, Karen's shoulders slumped. She stepped aside, wordless. As Jake's team surged forward, chainsaws roaring to clear the path. From above, I saw the first crate retrieved, hikers waving weakly in gratitude. But the victory felt hollow. Karen stood alone, staring at the ground, her defiance shattered but her wounds unhealed. The rescue succeeded, but the cost was steep. Sarah later told me one hiker didn't make it. Hypothermia claimed him before help arrived. The community was saved, yet fractured. Karen faced legal charges, but her story sparked fierce debate. Some called her a villain, others a victim of a system that ignored rural struggles. Carter's intervention saved lives, but it couldn't mend the deeper rift. As I flew back to base, the mountains seemed to whisper a truth. Survival demands more than supplies, it demands humanity. Karen's choice, Jake's desperation, Sarah's courage, and Carter's quiet plea were all part of a messy, human struggle. No one was wholly right or wrong, but the consequences were real. What do you think? Where does justice lie when personal pain collides with collective survival?